guys are blessed. What more could we ask for than this? Anywhere in the world. A wonderful reflection of nature, of whose children we are, whom we will never really understand, and who's beyond us, and yet somehow reflects a love of both ourselves for nature and nature for us. So we're lucky to be here. How thrilled I am to be here. Oh. I analysed some of my love things that happened in my life, and I asked myself, who do you love most in the world? You love whiskey? I love old motor cars. Great. And I said, well, love between two people. And at that stage of my life, my marriage wasn't that stable or that good. And there was no love between us really. There was a profound respect and a profound understanding that we were two people with very severe differences. And the one person that I added up was the person I loved truly. Was your mother, Annie Benson. I loved her. We were distant, but I added up as the one human being that I loved. Now, Annie, stop with this emotion. Philip called me the other day, and he said, I'd like you to make a statement or tell us something about love. Sure thing. Into the library, sure to Oxford Dictionary. Love. There are 148 definitions in that dictionary on love. I thought, well, it's going to be a long talk. And also, I'll leave one out, which I didn't like particularly. And I'll tell you all about the other 148 as we go. When I add up love, the first thing I ever loved in my life was a little duck called Wattle Duck who went to bed with me every night until I was asleep. And my mother could be there, my aunt could be there. It didn't matter. As long as Wattle Duck was in the bed with me, I was happy. And I loved Wattle Duck. I did. I thought she loved me. It's quite strange. And then I went through the time when I lived with my granny during the war, when I was 3 and 4. And I loved my granny more than anything because she was there. My mother was in Johannesburg, I was in Cape Town. There was an absolute bond of love between a child and an adult. And then later my mom came home from Johannesburg during the war, and my granny left, and I had an absolute affinity for my mom until I was old enough to go fishing and hunting with my dad. And then my mother she was there, but I loved my dad. Yeah. And a strange sort of love, but after all it's a love between humans. And then I thought I better find out more about this history, telling everybody about yourself and what you love. And then we go back and look at history of love. Those old Romans weren't silly. They had a god of love called Venus. And they absolutely believed in her. She never popped up anywhere. But they thought that she was around. And they believed it. And they all had ceremonies, I'm sure, like we've got today. And old Venus was amongst them. Well, good old Venus, when the Romans got knocked out, she kind of got knocked out at the same time. And then the Greeks were there and they had Aphrodite, who was also the goddess of love. And my God, she was always there amongst them. And they would pray to Aphrodite and they would give her everything. But there was a goddess of love. We don't have a goddess of love. Although maybe we should have, because love is in some ways more equitable on the feminine side with men, with women and their empathy. But be that as it may, that's the history of what happened to old Venus and good old Aphrodite. Now we don't believe in them. Other religions believe in their gods, and that's wonderful. But, and that old Cupid who came, but you know they had to pay for him to come to the weddings. Cupid didn't just arrive and fly around. You know how Cupid flies. They had to pay for him. The wedding people had to pay. Who did they pay? They couldn't pay Aphrodite because she wasn't around. They gave their money to the government. Okay, that's the history of love in the old time. Now love is both a noun and a verb. I love whiskey. Yeah. I love the ocean. I love the trees. I love the mountains. And then there's the noun. He has a love for the mountains. He has a love for the trees. So love is both a noun and a verb. And there are not many words in our book of the shorter English dictionary which I went through the other day with its 22,000 pages, trying to find out something from Philip. However, there it is. And love, unfortunately today, we use the word love far more on inanimate things than we do with people. We love our dogs, we love our cats, we love our horses, we love our trees, we love our gardens, and we love all sorts of things. And I said to an old friend of mine the other day, quite an old timer, and he'd been married for, I don't know, longer, God knows what, about 60 years. And I said, you made the statement the other day, you loved old motor cars and you loved single malt whiskey. Okay, yeah, that's right. So tell me, when did you ever say to me, you loved your wife Molly? Isn't that more important? And he thought for a while and he said, yeah, but we kind of love each other and we live together and that's the way it is. I said, have you ever sat down with her and told her you love her recently, other than on your honeymoon and a few years afterwards? No, he said, I haven't. So she seems to be quite happy. I said to myself, I think maybe she is. I said, has she ever said to you in the last 10 years, I love you? No. And here we talk of the love of two people, which is the most important of our human knowledge of love, I think. And of the 148 definitions, there was only one that I could find. It's on an old piece of paper now, but we will embellish it and give it to CALUM in a form that they can keep wherever they like. Love is giving someone the power to break your heart, but trusting them not to. Love is something giving you the power, giving someone the power to break your heart, but trusting them not to. Thank you.